you that, I will definitely, do it again.
I would be happy to do that. I would be happy to have you on any time. And, if we don't all stick together, you really got to ask yourself. I mean, I've been reading this chat room on here, and they are attacking one person that's trying to back me up a little bit. Somebody that's been a fan for a long time, and I don't see him attacking anybody. I see him trying to defend me from the people that are trying to put down the message. I got into this after I sat on my boat in Miami watching and listening to the broadcast that about the Waco, the attack on Waco, and watching the press try to put out the spin that somehow the BATF had to go in there and kill 17 little children to rescue them from a child molester, accused child molester who
to try to get to reach as many people as possible. I want this information out. People have got to hear this, and it's not about me. It's not about me at all. I have never asked for a dime. I haven't asked for anything. It's not about me, and I'm trying to keep my credibility level so that people understand that this is not a selfish act. What I'm doing is not selfish. I am really trying to tell people that they've got to start, not listening to this mainstream media all the time. They've got to start, really taking some time out of their busy, busy day, which I know people, both mother and fathers of families, are worked to their stress limits, and basically they want to, oh, excuse me, I'm being interrupted here for a second.
That's all right. Probably wait.
Hold on 1 second. Go ahead, Clay. Continue talking. I'm just going to be taking a quick minute here.
That's all right. That's all right. It's you'll probably wake my boys up, and they'll be responding here shortly.
Okay, I'm back now. Okay.
All right. We are trying. Alex he is reaching people, and I think he's doing good work. I think he's 90% right on. He avoids 10% that I don't. I will talk about Israel. I will talk about the neocon cabal that wants to take us to war. I will talk about the Jewish involvement, as my friend, as people that I admire, Ezra Pound, Eustace Mullins has talked about. I will talk about England. I will talk about the Bar Association. I don't think the lawyers are our friends, and the bankers are definitely not our friends. The bankers are the problem. They want wars. They fund both sides, and that's what they do. That's what they've always done. So yes, and if you talk about them, I've said that and I filmed the first Homeland Security meeting. It's called True Face of FEMA, and they say we're in for a long war. We're going to be in long. It might go longer than the Cold War, and the enemy is weak. They don't have tanks. They don't have planes. They don't have helicopters. They don't have machines. So they're going to use unconventional methods. We have to use unconventional methods also. And what they're talking about, the war on terror, is a war against anyone that resists or disagrees with one world government of the banksters, by the banksters, and for the banksters. And remember, folks, communism, where Rabbi Weiss said, some people call it communism, I call it Judaism for the masses. The Bolsheviks that murdered the Tsar were funded and staffed by Jews. They brought the Jews in against from the Pale settlement there, where they originated from, where the country that used to be called Khazar. And the Jews themselves have talked about it. We've had some good Jews out there. This is not to demonize everybody, because Aaron Russo, my friend, I put on the cover of my magazine when he ran for governor in Nevada. He happened to be Jewish, and he told you in a conversation with Rockefeller what they wanted to do. They wanted to put us good chips in everybody so they could control us. And if you talk about that, suddenly you're a hater. No, that's not it. That is, again, that's the demonization, and that's how they do it. Now, Alex, and if I was in Alex's position, I would probably avoid talking about the Jewish connection to the communist and everything else, because his wife's Jewish, beautiful lady, and he's got 3 wonderful children. So, and he's got a lot of advertisers that are Jewish. So, I can understand his hesitance, but it's why I don't have advertisers. It's why I don't have commercials on this show, because, as Voltaire said, you can tell who your masters are by who you're not allowed to criticize.
Right.
So, I don't care. I've been blocked in libraries and places like that, and I suppose because it's because I've got links to the Protocols of the Elders of Zion on my website somewhere. You know, if you say that, somebody that's Jewish will start screaming, "Wow, don't you know that's a forgery? That's a forgery." Well, what's a forgery? Oh yeah, that's the exact copy of the original, isn't it?
Yeah, they're using that anti-Semitism, argument against people, but it's the same story. Basically, it's divide and conquer. They're using the blacks against whites and the all the different races against each other to divide and conquer. And I'm sure that the majority of the people of all nationalities know the truth. So, but then you have the people who will use the arguments such as anti-Semitism as their platform to discredit you, to be trolls. So it's not the people, it's the governing force out there that is orchestrating this divide and separate, divide and conquer technique. They've got a lot of tactics that they're using. We should incorporate some of their own tactics to use in our advantage.
And by the way, even if it was a forgery, whoever wrote the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, which is a blueprint for one world government under Satan, it is whoever wrote it's dead. So it doesn't matter whether it was a bunch of Aborigines in the outback in Australia or a bunch of Jewish rabbis, sitting down in Khazaria. It doesn't matter who wrote it. They're dead. It matters is who is using the tactics that were outlined there today. And that's what we have to deal with, folks. I mean, you got to ask yourself why does the mainstream media, and my friend David has been telling people about the CNN reporter that says they were being forced. CNN was being pushed, and they were pushing the whole war against the Muslims and against the Arabs. They're trying to pit the just like they've done time and time again. They're trying to pit the Christians against the Muslims, and the only people that profit from this are the defense industries, the neocons, the people that are pushing war, and they fund both sides. It was New York banker that financed the Marx and Lenin, sent them over with a trainload of gold to murder the Tsar. Now, folks, that's history. That's history. And if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it.
No question about it, Clay. You hit the nail on the head. We've got to wake up and realize that if we do not learn from history, then we're doomed. We're going to just fail. And you're right. They're pitting different races and nationalities and people against each other. These people, left on their own accord, would never be acting like they are acting, but they are being pitted against each other. And people have to understand that, well, okay, another thing is, this war on terrorism here, this excuse that the propaganda mainstream media is using as a way to fund their agenda, it's, when was the last time you walked down your street and you saw a terrorist? Okay, ask yourself that. Ask your audience that. When was the last time you went down Main Street in your hometown, no matter how big that hometown is or how small, when was the last time you saw a terrorist? And how can that possibly justify the amount of money that they're taking away from the tax-paying citizens to fund this anti-terrorist campaign, with the DHS purchasing all the bullets and the DHS purchasing these vehicles that are tank-like vehicles. You know, the DHS is not the military. The DHS doesn't fight wars. The DHS is supposed to be, like, you know, is under the guise of Homeland Security, you know, to secure our nation. Why on earth do they need enough weapons to fight a tremendously huge, you know, war? And FEMA camps. What are these FEMA camps doing in our country? You know, there's something going on. You know, we got to really, you know, wake up. And, you know, most people don't know these things because most people are mom and pops with children who've got to each work 10 hours every day, 6 days a week. By the time they get home, at the end of the day, they have enough energy to clean themselves up, feed themselves and their children, just to get up and do it all over again the next day. They can't spare 10 or 15 minutes out of their day because they're too tired to do any research. Not only that, but they see the intimidation that is being waged against other people, and they don't want to put their loved ones in harm's way. There's many reasons and different excuses and how they're going about using all of these tactics against us. We've got to start. I mean, if I could say anything to any of your audience, I would say, listen, people, you know, try to dedicate 15 or 20 minutes a day at the end of your long day of work. I know it's very tough. I know it's very tough on people, you know, to make a living and to clothe themselves and to pay the bills. Try to dedicate 15, 20 minutes a day doing your own research away from the mainstream media. Meaning, get on the computer while it's still there for you to use. Get on the internet and, you know, find these alternative medias. I tell you, I get better news coverage, meaning I find better news and more important news topics and stories in countries other than the United States reporting on our country. So, you know, these people are not being intimidated, and they are able to tell the truth, and, you know, the facts, you know, both sides of the story are being reported on, and you can really get a lot more information. So I would say, you know, try to dedicate some time, you know, away from the multimedia. I'm sorry, the mass media. You know,
mass
the
media,
mainstream
yes, sir.
news.
Now, they just Nighthawk, who runs this channel, Revolution Radio. He mentioned that what we need to do is stop feeding their machine, and I agree with that. I came up a long time ago with something plan called Liberty Villages. Now, I had 5 acres out in the middle of nowhere. I had a well, I had a garden, and I had a generator and a windmill. And if you can generate your own energy and you can grow your own food, you don't really need the government or the banksters for anything. And I've also tried to tell people we could do this in our own neighborhoods. One block, take your neighbor. Now, if you went around to your neighbors and said, "Hey, we're in this block here, in this one block, we're going to start this little project. We're going to help you find solar panels. We're going to start making solar panels in Joe's garage over here, and we're going to kick the neighborhood association out, or overrule the neighborhood association, and put solar on our roofs and a windmill on the roof, and we're going to dig up that backyard. We don't even have to dig it up. You don't have to plow it, folks. All you got to do is put wood chips down and drop the seeds in, and God takes care of the rest. It's you grow your own food in your backyard or your front yard, and they've done that in right in California, in a neighborhood in California. Well, at least one neighbor did. But if you organized your neighbors and put solar on your roof and a garden in your backyard, then you don't need the government, you don't need the banks for nothing. And you damn sure don't need Homeland Security if you've got your neighbors looking out for each other. Take care of yourself. Start in your block, on your block. You may not be able to change the world. You may not be able to, overrule the UN. You may not be able to pitch a bitch for the and influence the Federal Reserve or the World Bank, but you could change your neighborhood by working together. And I call that the concept Liberty Villages. I ask myself, how did we populate this country? We did it with windmills, covered wagons. We did it all across the country. Everywhere you went across this country, you could see a windmill pumping the water. You'd have a generator on it to charge a battery. You could do that. We did it before. How did we exist 200 years ago? Growing our own food. It's why can't we do that today? The answer is we can, but they don't want you to, and they're going to try to discourage that. Just like they don't want you to own your guns so you can't defend yourself, they are trying to stop self-sufficiency. And again, that's why anytime a communist regime takes over, they go after the farmers first, because they don't want you to feed yourself, to be able to feed yourself. Buy it from the supermarket, buy it from pay for the trucks to bring it up. They don't want you to be self-sufficient, and Obama even passed an executive order targeting rural communities. Well, there's a lot of potential in the rural communities, so the government has to get involved. Well, I disagree. I agree with everything you said in the executive order, except that part. The government doesn't have to be involved. It doesn't have to be involved.
I agree. And also, unfortunately, what's going to happen is what it's going to take to wake some of these people up, or actually to wake up the people out of a dead sleep that they're in, okay? What it's going to take is when their money is all of a sudden gone, meaning their bank account, they can't get to it, and they can't get to their money to pay their bills, and all of a sudden they've taken a haircut, like Cyprus has recently done, had happened to them, okay? So what how I basically kind of like think of this like is I keep I used to keep my guns in my safe at home, okay? Well, they found a way to whittle away at this right, our constitutional right to bear arms. So they're trying tooth and nail to take away this freedom, this Second Amendment right that we have. They are whittling away at this. So they're not able to, by having your guns in your home, they don't have direct access to these weapons that they're trying desperately to confiscate from you, okay? But what they do have direct access to is your money in your bank account. So when they are finished whittling away and finding a way to get everybody's weapons away from them and not having the ability to defend themselves against a tyrannical government, which is what is going on, okay? One day it's going to be not even it's taking a long time for them to, it's taking a much longer time than they want to take away your guns, okay? But it's going to take minutes to take away your money. So within 1 hour's time, they could grind this economy to a dead halt. They could grind your ability to feed your family to a dead halt electronically in one hour or less, probably, across the country. You'll wake up one day and everything will be, the day before, everything will be, status quo, and you'll be able to access your money, and you'll be able to buy food and gas for your vehicles and, do everything you normally do. And the very next day you wake up and it will be chaos. And that's going to all start by them taking your guns away. Okay? So you must, what I would say to your audience is buy guns. Not the kind of guns you need to register, but buy as many guns as you possibly afford. Buy as much ammunition as you could possibly afford. Get them in a safe place where they are not going to cause any harm to anyone, and keep them away from the prying eyes of anybody whom you see, you suspect wants to take those things away from you. Hide them, hoard them, whatever you got to do. Do not register them, and keep them away from anybody that has the ability to take them away from you. Fight tooth and nail to keep this right that you have from being taken away, because you don't keep your guns in your bank account, meaning there's not a bank account in your local town that has a safe deposit box that keeps your shotgun in, or your 22s, or whatever guns. There's not a safety deposit box in your hometown where you store these weapons. They have got to take them away from you from your home. They have got to whittle away at your constitutional rights to get them. But what they do have direct access to is your money. And that, unfortunately, is going to be the ultimate fright, the ultimate horror that's going to be realized if they succeed in taking away your Second Amendment rights.
That's you're absolutely right. And what's happening in Cyprus will happen here. It already is happening here. I've got one lady that she just wrote me that her son that had money in the bank, and the bank took it, or FDIC or something took it, and they were talking to lawyers about having to sue the FDIC to get his money back. I'll get more information on that, and but they're already doing that. They're going after the safe deposit boxes. This is all happening. It's happening right now. And if they, all it would take is to flip a switch. I mean, they're talking about the what they call the sun erupting, or they pointed out the fact that a nuclear blast here up 5 miles would destroy the whole electronic digital banking system overnight. If that happens, you won't be able to buy or sell. You won't be able to get your money. You won't be able to pump your gas. And we're out of time here. David, I'll have you back on. Stay in touch. Tell anybody on your email list about this show. It'll all be available here. And thank you for listening,
all right,
folks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you too.
Good luck,
Take
sir.
care.
Good luck. Keep me informed.